Hey, I do buckaroos. How the heck are you? Had it ready to go, and then I was having issues with the camera. And all of a sudden, it changed on me, and I couldn't get it back where I had it. I'm still having trouble getting that angled, right? Anyways, how the heck are you? It is the 4th of July. This will be my official 4th of July video. Um, Closed down just a little bit early today. Opened a little bit early, closed a little bit early. Oops, trying to. There we go. It's not letting me go to where I'm trying to go. There we go. There we go. I think we're okay. Set that down there. Whoops. All right. I decided to grab, have some good stuff to start with for the first pour of the day, my first alcohol of the day. Give myself a nice 2 ounce pour of the Hotel Tango. It's a 10-year-old American straight bourbon whiskey. Aromas of cherry, vanilla, and burnt sugars. Distilled by Flat Rock Spirits in Fairborn, Ohio, but blended and bottled by Hotel Tango in Indianapolis, Indiana. That is where I bought it. I did have I don't typically buy from blenders, if you will. It's not distilled there, but I got to tell you, I had such a great experience at the distillery that I didn't have any issues buying it. Had a flight while I was there, and just had some great products. I am off the weekend, so I don't know if I'll get to get outside on my grill slash smoker. Actually, it's a smoker slash grill, I should say. It's a smoker, but you can't grill on it. But I tend to smoke more than I grill. Because smoking, you spend a fair amount of time getting your products ready, but once it's on the smoker, then you're good for several hours. Whereas grilling, the prep time usually isn't quite as long, but you got to stand over the grill just for a few minutes, though. But it's not, it's not bad, I guess. But I like to smoke. I want to just get my stuff ready, put those ribs on there, put whatever on the whatever I am smoking, and just relax. But the other side of that is I've been really wanting a steak, and I haven't grilled. The last couple of times I've cooked the steak, it was cooler and cooked it inside on the cast iron, which is fine. But I wouldn't mind putting some on actual fire. Give it a little grill, then take it in, give it a reverse sear inside. Uh, the aromatics on this are incredible. Again, they tell you aromas of cherry, vanilla, and burnt sugar. I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to put a finer point on some of those notes. Especially on the nose, you do really feel those cherry, vanilla, burnt sugar notes on the nose. A lot of that char comes through on the nose as well. Of that candied cherry like notion going on. Uh, that's nice, man. That's really good. The first pour of the day. That one means something, doesn't it? That first alcohol of the day. Everybody else was out early drinking. But I was working till almost 9. Now I guess I clocked out at 8:30 of it. Oh, this stuff is delicious. I don't think I've rated the proof on it now that I say that though. It is 128.4, and I got to tell you, wow, you just don't taste it. It's not hot or boozy in any way, not for me anyway. I mean, if you're a whiskey drinker, you're gonna, yeah, you won't feel it hot. If you're a dabbler, it may seem a little warm to you, but I mean, if you drink a lot of good cask whiskey, no, it's not going to feel hot to you at all. Definitely find some cinnamon in there, so there's some nice barrel notes. Get this cinnamon sugar like finish, but also maybe a hint of ginger in there right at the end. Really feel that cherry running all the way through it, though. Almost like a sour cherry like note. Boy, that is good, though. That's good. I don't know how it is in your neck of the woods. People didn't seem as excited about Fourth of July this year as in some years past. There's a lot of concern about what's going on. I know a lot of folks are concerned about employments, and not necessarily their own, but others around them, how it's going to affect people. It just seems things seem so uncertain right now, especially in this climate where we've got folks clapping and laughing at concentration camps being built. That seems just bizarre to me. The logistics of that monstrosity has me puzzled. How might they evacuate people in an emergency? And for those that are convinced that what is happening out there is an atrocity and isn't a concentration camp, well, I encourage you to look up the actual definition of a concentration camp because it may not be what you think it is. And what they're doing out there certainly fits that definition. Now, bodies aren't being incinerated at this particular moment in time, but Auschwitz didn't start with bodies being incinerated immediately either. So first, they try to convince you that these people aren't people, that they don't deserve the same rights that you have. And unfortunately, a rather large percentage of Americans have bought into that. So now you're able to accept atrocities. You don't want them happening to you, but it's okay if they happen to somebody else. And that's the problem with that mentality. If it can happen to anybody, it can happen to everybody. You may be okay with it happening to these other folks right now because it's not affecting you. But if that is allowed, it won't be long until they can come after you. So, yes, I am having some issues getting into the spirit of this particular 4th of July because many folks are seeing their freedoms eroding. And if you don't think every American should have exactly the same freedoms, then it's not freedom you're enjoying, it's privilege. You want to be privileged. You think you are above others. For whatever reason, you think your station is higher. And that shouldn't be the case. And I love how certain folks on the extreme far right want to boil it down to, well, our founding fathers fought so they didn't have to pay taxes. Well, that's not really true. You're trying to extremely simplify a complex issue. Um, Part of why the revolution started, and we can dicker over how big a part, but it was just a part. Well, it wasn't just taxes; it was taxation without representation. It wasn't not being taxed at all. That those on the extreme far right seem to forget. And for those of you that said, well, if you don't like it, you should do something about it, or they should do something about it, people are doing something about it right now. That's why you're seeing massive organized protests across the country with the displeasure of this particular fascist regime that's destroying everything that this country once was, or even could be at this moment in time. Uh, Boy, those cherry notes are just gorgeous in this. I got to tell you. Burnt sugar, yeah. So I'm gonna take it just a step farther. It's almost like a just a very dark, almost burnt sugar caramel like note. But when it combines with that cherry note, it just becomes something else altogether. This whiskey is just insanely good. Now it is 128 and change, so if you want to add a little water, hey, be my guest. You want to try to put it on ice, hey man, that's you. And in many whiskeys, I will try to even some cast whiskeys. I've made cocktails with, but um, I don't see that happening with this one. For me, this is a whiskey to drink neat, and I'm not going to drink a lot at the time. This one I'm going to have this pour, and then that whiskey goes away, and I still got other good whiskeys, but maybe not quite at at this level. So I'm gonna work down the food chain, or let's not even say that. Work down the price point a little bit, right? Because this one it was more expensive than most of the whiskeys I have. So we're just gonna work down. But I want to enjoy some really nice whiskey to start with for the first alcohol of the day. Relax and just have something amazing. Great barrel on this one, though. I gotta tell you, nice oak and spice. I mentioned cinnamon early, little ginger, but it's not going to be unusual if you find some clove, um, allspice, nutmeg, kind of a mix of baking spice. But I will tell you that I did feel cinnamon right out front. Sometimes the notes are a little more subtle, but that one was right at you. But that cherry note is expressive. almost like a dried candy cherry, much like a fruitcake note. Oh mercy, that's just delicious, man. Let me check something real quick, guys. Bear with me. Oh, yeah, set that. Anyways, so let's set that down there. Let's finish this up. And I'm gonna have one beer with you to wash this down. Gosh, that's a good whiskey. So what? I'm only gonna allow myself a little bit at a time. There's certain days we'll say, okay, you can have one now. And we're gonna put it away for a while. I won't even look at it again until August. Oh, I thought this would be the perfect way to start. Just something to relax with. Have a nice pour. Work off the stress. Just let the stress melt away. Anyways, I'm gonna jump off camera here in just a second, and I'm gonna grab me a beer. I'll be right back. So I have what I have here is the M80 from Banter Brewing, and the best way to describe this is it's a beer. I don't mean to be flip, but it's just one of those. It doesn't need any pretentious explanation. It's a beer, man. It will, for those of you of a certain age, it will bring back some memories. It is basically a craft malt liquor, if you will. If there could ever be such an animal, this is it. Just a slightly better mousetrap, if you will. At 6.7%. Oh, that's gorgeous. It's not one you need to check the aromas. We don't need to talk about flavors, but it's just good. It's clean. And again, it just tastes like a beer. Uses a little bit of flaked corn as per style, but doesn't have that sickeningly sweet finish that your your commercial malt liquors have that use that cheap ass corn syrup. With just a little bit of flaked corn. And boy, this beer is just good. It's just good, clean, easy to drink. Oh man, and perfect for, well, it's called M80. So obviously it's perfect for today. You see, just a little bit of my dad's stuff behind me, his medals. I think they couldn't find his Purple Heart, so it's not in here, but it has his Bronze Star. Dad's generation, that World War II generation, never talked about what they went through. It wasn't the way they did things. Yeah, I'm not saying that was healthy. I'm not by any means. But it is interesting to compare with subsequent generations that seem to need to brag about every little thing they accomplished, while that generation hid almost everything. And in fact, it seemed like the greater the deed, the less they wanted to talk about it. Whereas seems like those now uh, will want to write books for doing whatever it is they think they've accomplished. And I'm not sure what the difference is, right? I'm not sure what happened between these generations. And again, I'm not saying keeping everything in is the most healthy approach. Obviously, it wasn't, especially, so when they had a parent. No, obviously things weren't there. But I don't know that bragging about everything, uh, trying to capitalize on something like that is any healthier. Especially when we're currently in a society that wants to whitewash over the atrocities we committed and only focus on what they feel we've done right. Well, I mean, you've got to take the good with the bad, right? We have done some great things as a country. We've also done some horrible things, and we need to take responsibility for that. I find it interesting that it's the same folks that piss and moan about Confederate statues coming down, the so-called history being erased, that these are the folks that want to erase actual history, that don't want slavery being taught, that don't want to talk about the Japanese internment camps. Yes, we've done some very horrible things. They don't want to talk about the Trail of Tears. Yes, we've done some very horrible things. And we should own that as well as the good things we accomplish. Again, I just find it interesting that it's always the same folks that say you can't bury history that want to bury history. They only want very specific history being taught. They only want propaganda being taught. And yes, if you're picking and choosing what you want to teach, what you want to share with the public, that is the very definition of propaganda. It is the same people that try to make a concentration camp sound somehow cute by calling it Alligator Alcatraz. Anyway, it's the same people that somehow want to demonize folks that have empathy and compassion. Somehow, somewhere down the line, that became a bad thing to those on the far right. And I think that's why they believe the things that they do, because they don't have that ability. They can't feel for anybody else but themselves. They don't have the ability to feel anybody else's pain. And I feel like that's why our society has eroded. I don't know if we can come back from where we are now. I'm not sure that there is middle ground to come back to, because I'm not sure how you find middle ground with I'm okay with concentration camps. I'm okay with other people not having due process. I don't know that there is any way to meet in the middle with folks that believe that right now. If you think that is okay, if you think it's okay to round people up, chuck them in prison without any due process, I'm not sure how you negotiate with terrorists like that. But for whatever reason, this is the society we've become. And again, I go back to, if they can do that to anybody, they can do that to everybody. And you can't make some folks understand that, because somehow they think, oh, it doesn't apply to them. Again, if they can do, if they can find justification to do it to anybody, at some point they're going to find justification to do it to you. Uh, so I think that's why a lot of folks are struggling with Fourth of July this year. A lot of folks, I didn't see the same attitude this year that I saw last year or the year before. It seems more somber as we watch atrocities being committed right before our eyes. And then you have, again, a certain segment of society that wants to deny things are happening as you can see them happening. But anyways, I digress. But yeah, that's why I think a lot of folks aren't celebrating like they do. I think you got the folks that are going to do whatever they're going to do no matter what. But I think anybody that has a conscience, anybody that's capable of empathy and compassion, know that this doesn't feel like the year to celebrate anything. As you can see, the powers that be committing obvious atrocities and many people applauding them. It doesn't seem to be a reason to celebrate. So there you go. I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and I'm also Tom, the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, all around good guy, Sláinte. And after this video, may be coming to a concentration camp near you. Have a good one.